Everyone, welcome back to Super Kalam. I am your teacher and mentor Arpita Sharma, and this is going to be Environment Revisionary class number 2. We are already taken class 1. The link is given in the description box, also in the I button over here. But this class 2 is going to be very important because today I am going to take up the PYQs also with me. वाइल एक्सप्लेनिंग कॉन्सेप्ट्स जितने भी कॉन्सेप्ट्स हम पढ़ेंगे हम PYQs की मदद से उन कॉन्सेप्ट्स को पढ़ेंगे दीज टॉपिक्स हैव बीन रिपीटेड अ लॉट सो मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव योर रजिस्टर्स एंड रिवीजन बहुत प्यारी तरीके से करनी है डोंट वरी द क्लास PDF विल ऑल्सो बी गिवन टू यू ऑन अ टेलीग्राम कम्युनिटी बट अभी राइट नाउ प्लीज फोकस ऑन द क्लास डू नॉट चैंट कि भाई मैम PDF दे दो पहले समझ लो रिवाइज कर लो PDF तो मिल ही जाना है PDF कहाँ भाग रहा है ना चलो लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड एवरीवन आई नो यू ऑल आर माय वॉरियर्स प्रीलिम्स इज जस्ट फ्यू डेज अवे लेट्स नॉट फॉरगेट कि रिवीजन हमारा की है अभी इस टाइम पर प्रीलिम्स क्रैक करने का ठीक है सो आई टुक दीज टू क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द जियो साइंटिस्ट पेपर दैट हैपेंड रिसेंटली बिकॉज कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट्स GS के सिमिलर है टू आवर UPSC पेपर राइट so first particular question that I noticed was the scientific name of mango is Mangifera indica L. The word indica stands for which one of the following? And we have seen this a lot of times in newspaper also. Scientific names of species are given. But do we ponder upon it? Ki bhai ye why it indica is written? Right? So let us understand. Here the correct answer would be D. That is specific epithet. But what exactly is the meaning of epithet? First of all, in Mangifera indica L, the first name is always signifying the genus of the species, right? The second symbolizes or signifies the epithet. अब ये epithet का मतलब क्या होता है ये समझा देती हूँ मैं आपको because this is very important to understand. So I'll create a note of it. Epithet basically means write it down to describe to describe certain character or most important quality so if you want to understand a species quality that is signified by the second name which is indica over here this is the epithet ठीक है so that is the meaning of epithet जो आपको simply समझना होता है characteristic okay actual name और title का characteristic क्या है then second question that I came across was which one of the following is the main driver in explaining the cohesion, tension, transpiration, pull model of water transport in plants? Now this is very important question. Now let us first understand what the question means. Question का मतलब क्या है? Question says, write it down. What is the main reason? Driver means main reason that water moves upwards in plants. This we studied in science class 6 to 8 science, right? Upwards through the cohesion, tension, transpiration method. So this is a method which is being written over here. Answer is transpiration. Okay, now what is transpiration क्या होता है इसको पहले समझ लेते हैं let's revise transpiration we had studied this in our 6 to 8 level NCERT science NCERT right transpiration basically is a process what kind of process a process where the water evaporates from the leaves of a plant mainly write it down through mainly through tiny pores called stomata हमने स्टोमेटा का एक्सपेरिमेंट भी स्कूल में किया है इफ यू रिमेंबर माइक्रोस्कोप के नीचे स्टोमेटा टीचर्स दिखाया करती थी राइट सो थ्रू स्टोमेटा सो द एक्सप्लेनेशन इज वेरी सिंपल water basically evaporates from the leaves this process is called transpiration and this creates a pull का मतलब क्या होगा what is the meaning of pull sucking water from a straw just like that a pull is created and water gets pulled upwards from the roots to the leaves नीचे से root से leaves में पानी आ रहा है ना so water is getting pulled through the xylem is what plants water carrying pipes is known as xylem and water molecules stick together this is known as cohesion and they stick to the walls of the xylem which is known as adhesion okay which helps the whole column move upward. So transpiration is the main driving force that starts this entire chain reaction. That is the correct answer over here. I hope you understood, right? अब आगे बढ़ते हैं, let's move ahead. Now there are certain environmental laws on which a lot of times questions are asked, and these environmental laws, when they are created, it is known as environmental governance. When you are putting in place certain systems and processes so that you can manage the available resources in the environment and you can protect them. For example, we have Wildlife Protection Act 1972, we have National Forest Policy 1988, we have Forest Rights Act 2006, Environmental Protection Act 1986, so on and so forth. Okay, so you have to make sure that you understand the objectives of these particular acts. In acts के objectives याद रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. But all these acts, they follow one principle known as precautionary principle. Now this is important. What is precautionary principle? आप precaution लेते हो ना कुछ करने से पहले. So same way, precautionary principle also allows for protective measures to be taken when there is uncertainty. You are taking precaution in the face of uncertainty. If there is any kind of risk of environmental harm, in that case you take certain precautionary principles into place, and this is how the acts also function. यही principle use करके सारे हमारे acts भी function करते हैं. That is why some measures, certain measures and agreements are put in, you can say, advance itself, so that we can protect these species in the environment. Okay, and we have environmental impact assessment for that. ये यहाँ पर भी precautionary principle use हो जाता है. So basically it is also a process through which you are trying to identify possible environmental consequences, what can happen if things work out in the negative way, and to safeguard environment in such situations, what steps should be taken. अब आइडेंटिफाई कैसे किया जाएगा कि क्या गलत हो सकता है, what wrong can happen to the environment, how to identify it. So there are certain stages which is you can say focused upon in the environmental impact assessment: screening, scoping, impact analysis, public hearing, appraisal and clearance. Any project, when it is being done in the environment, the project is screened, स्कोपिंग होती है, उसका इम्पैक्ट एनालिसिस किया जाता है, पब्लिक हियरिंग होती है, it is kept transparent among the public also, appraisal, and then finally clearance is given. That is environmental impact assessment. Whatever project you are launching, what is the impact on the environment? If there is a negative impact, then that project will not be approved. Okay, so now let us move towards the next important aspect, next key term. वैसे तो हमें पता है कि यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स क्वेश्चंस ऑन बायो मैग्निफिकेशन एंड बायो एक्यूमुलेशन, बट उससे पहले एक बहुत की कॉन्सेप्ट है दैट यूपीएससी हैज आस्क्ड अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स इन प्रीलिम्स. दिस इज अ स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ 2013 prelims examination. Here, what kind of question was asked? Look at the question very carefully. Which one of the following is the correct sequence of ecosystems in the order of decreasing productivity? इकोसिस्टम प्रोडक्टिविटी के ऊपर क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है. Ecosystem productivity, write it down. It is the rate of biomass production, which means the rate the rate at which new organic matter is formed in an ecosystem. That is known as ecosystem productivity. Basically it will reflect the efficiency of ecosystem. Write it down. It reflects the efficiency of ecosystem. ठीक है, यहां तक पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया सभी को? How ecosystem utilizes solar energy, how it is getting converted into usable forms of energy. These are all part of ecosystem productivity. And ecosystem productivity is of two types. इसके दो basic types होते हैं. First is known as the primary productivity. First type, primary productivity. Second type is known as secondary productivity. Secondary प्रोडक्टिविटी, ये आ गया आपका सेकेंड टाइप. ठीक है, सो हाउ इज इट मेजर्ड? प्रोडक्टिविटी इज मेजर्ड in terms of biomass, that is fresh or dry weight, or in terms of energy. Okay, तो ये भी इंपॉर्टेंट हो जाता है. एनर्जी मीन्स कैलोरीज और जूल्स. एनर्जी, राइट इट डाउन, पर यूनिट एरिया पर यूनिट टाइम. पर यूनिट एरिया पर यूनिट टाइम. तो इन दो मेजरमेंट से प्रोडक्टिविटी को कैलकुलेट किया जाता है. नाउ व्हाट कैन अफेक्ट द प्रोडक्टिविटी? सनलाइट कैन अफेक्ट द प्रोडक्टिविटी, temperature can impact the productivity, nutrient availability can impact the productivity, species diversity can also impact the productivity, and water availability can also impact the productivity. Now there are different types of ecosystems. We studied it in the last class. For example, we have tropical rainforest. It is known to be it is famous for high productivity because यहाँ पर sunlight बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. ठीक है. Then there are open oceans and deserts. Generally they have low productivity. Why? Because oceans में आप देखोगे deep down sunlight is limited, right? Nutrients is limited. तो desert के area में if we look at deserts, nutrients are limited, so that impacts the productivity of these areas. Okay, now look at this question very carefully and answer this question in the comment section. Which one of the following is the correct sequence of the ecosystem in the order of decreasing productivity? आपको निकालना है. ठीक है. Oceans, lakes, grasslands, mangroves. Mangroves, oceans, grasslands, lakes. Mangroves, grasslands, lakes, oceans. और oceans, mangroves, lakes, grasslands. अब आपको in the comment section you have to answer this question. ठीक है. I'll be waiting for your answers in the comment section, by the way. Now let's go to these two terms, biomagnification and bioaccumulation. A lot of times questions have been asked on it. Okay, so what exactly is biomagnification? Basically, चलो एक सेपरेट ना स्लाइड बना लेते हैं और उसमें ये दोनों टर्म्स को अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. Biomagnification. Okay, so what exactly is biomagnification? Write it down. It refers to increasing concentration of the pollutants as they move up the food chain. We have studied the food chain and food web in the last class, right? So basically toxins होते हैं, pesticides, heavy metals, they are not broken down by organism, so they get accumulated in the tissues of the organism, because of which concentration of these toxins increase at the trophic level, राइट. स्पेशली अगर हम एपेक्स प्रोडक्ट प्रेडेटर्स की बात करें तो उनकी बॉडी में, उनके टिश्यूज में इसका कॉन्सेंट्रेशन इंक्रीज हो जाता है. दैट इज नोन एज बायोमैग्निफिकेशन. ओके, ये पॉइंट क्लियर हो गया सभी को. नाउ लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड द नेक्स्ट इंपॉर्टेंट टर्म विच इज बायो एक्यूमुलेशन. एक्यूमुलेशन का मतलब क्या होता है? राइट इट डाउन. इट मीन्स ग्रेजुअल accumulation of substances, especially the toxic pollutants like pesticides in an organism's body. That is bioaccumulation. Basically when an organism absorbs, कोई भी organism है, जब वो absorb करता है a particular substance faster than it can eliminate. For example, if this is an organism, the absorption rate is faster than the excretion rate, right? So that leads to bioaccumulation. आप बहुत ज़्यादा accumulate कर रहे हो body में, right? The greater the risk of the higher biological half life of a substance, the greater the risk of bioaccumulation, even if environmental levels are not very high. तो ये आपको पॉइंट याद रखना है. यहाँ पर दो टर्म्स आ जाएगी, एब्जॉर्प्शन वर्सेस एक्सक्रीशन. सो बायोअक्यूमुलेशन टू अकर, the rate at which an organism absorbs a substance must be greater than the rate at which it excretes or breaks down the substance and eliminates it. That you have to remember. Okay, अब यहाँ पर ना एक और टर्म आ जाता है which is, write it down, biological half life. What is the meaning of this term, biological half life? It is, write it down, the length of time a substance stays in the body before half of it is eliminated is crucial. Substances with longer half lives are more likely to bioaccumulate. that you have to remember. If you, in case you forget, I'm writing it down over here. These substances with the longer half lives are more likely to bioaccumulate. तो ये आप पॉइंट प्लीज याद रखना प्रीलिम्स के पर्सपेक्टिव से. ओके, सो वी हैव अंडरस्टूड सो फार. क्या क्या समझा हमने? वी हैव अंडरस्टूड बायो मैग्निफिकेशन, बायो एक्यूमुलेशन, इकोसिस्टम प्रोडक्टिविटी. We have understood EIA, we have understood environmental governance and precautionary principle, transpiration, and what is the meaning of the specific epithet. काफी सारे important terms हमने पढ़ लिया अभी तक. Now let's move forward. Now look at this question again asked in prelims. Prelims का question है ये. In case of which one of the following biogeochemical cycles, weathering of rocks is the main source of release of nutrient to enter the cycle? Here, to answer this question, this is the term that we have to study: biogeochemical cycles. Talk about biogeochemical cycles. These are important processes that move certain elements. What kind of elements? Elements can be like carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and compounds between the living organism, that is the biotic organisms, and the non-living organisms, that is abiotic. Now here we have the carbon cycle. अब हमारे पास carbon cycle होता है. Carbon cycle क्या होता है? I'm going to write it down over here. Carbon cycle means movement of carbon through atmosphere, through land, through oceans, and living organisms. For example, burning of fossil fuels, that impacts the carbon cycle, जिसकी वजह से climate change होता है. Similarly, what is nitrogen cycle? It focuses on transformation and movement of nitrogen through atmosphere, soil, and living organisms. For example, nitrogen fixation, it is a very important part of nitrogen cycle. Phosphorus cycle, it deals with the movement of phosphorus via rocks, via soil, via water. So phosphorus is crucial nutrient for plants and animals. And we have sulfur cycle. Sulfur cycle again is a vital component of protein and other organic molecules. So it is the movement of sulfur through atmosphere, soil, and living organism. तो रॉक कहाँ पर आया है इसके अंदर, ये देखना. ठीक है, and then you have to answer this question in the comment section. This is your second question that you have to answer. First was this prelims question. Now biogeochemical cycle का अलग से फिर से क्वेश्चन आ गया है, तो इसको सॉल्व करना है इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. आई विल बी वेटिंग फॉर योर आंसर्स. Now let's move on to the next important term that we have to study, which is GIAHS, globally important agricultural heritage system. Now I'll give you an example. For example, saffron. Saffron is saffron heritage of India. Basically, it is where is it cultivated? In Kashmir. In which kind of soil? In Karewa soil. So the communities living there, they are closely in relationship with this cultivation. Similarly, in Odisha, you will find Koraput traditional agriculture, which was in news also. Koraput traditional agriculture. It is inhabited by tribal groups like Khond, Bhatada, Paroja, Bhumia, Bondas, etc. Right? Again in Kerala we have Kutanad farming system, है ना? तो जहाँ पर आप ये देखोगे कि ये जो relationship है between the system and between the tribal communities which are living there, it is very closely interlinked. So that is a globally important agricultural heritage system. Living heritage systems inhabited by communities that maintain intricate relationship with their territory, that is known as GIAHS. And here you have to remember this very important fact, that it was declared by the Food and Agriculture Organization of United Nations. Okay, अब इंडिया में कितने साइट्स हैं ये आप मुझे बताओगे, because you are revising, you have to tell me how many GIAHS are there in India. Okay, and then you have to answer this particular question. उसके बाद आपको ये question answer करना है. I am going to wait for your answers. ठीक है, चलो आगे बढ़ते हैं. Now we have यूपीएससी's favorite नेशनल ग्रीन ट्राइब्यूनल एक्ट. प्रीलिम 2012 में भी पूछा गया है, 2017 में भी पूछा गया, 2020 में भी पूछा गया. सो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड एनजीटी के लिए ना एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल आपको याद रखना है, विच इज पल्यूटर पेज प्रिंसिपल, विच इज फॉलोड बाय एनजीटी. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली इज पल्यूटर पेज प्रिंसिपल? लेट अस अंडरस्टैंड दैट. Basically, it is considered as, write it down, the cornerstone of environmental of environmental law, which mandates that those causing pollution, write it down, those causing pollution bear the cost of its management and restoration. So next time when you see someone littering around, try to use this principle. Okay, तो यहाँ पर ना ये प्रिंसिपल देखो, यूपीएससी प्रिपरेशन इज ब्यूटिफुल. वाई? बिकॉज इट मेक्स अस अवेयर ऑफ सो मेनी थिंग्स जो हम डे टू डे लाइफ में देख रहे हैं, पीपल आर इग्नोरिंग, एंड वी बिकम अवेयर ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. Then there is another very important principle which is followed by NGT, which is known as absolute liability. इसी principle पे, absolute liability पर NGT perform करता है. So what is absolute liability principle? There are two kinds of liability: strict versus absolute liability. Absolute liability, basically it is a part of article 21, right to life. आपको पता है, there was a very famous case where Supreme Court took a very important decision. The name of the case is Oleum gas leak case. Oleum gas leak case. ये दिल्ली में हुआ था 1986 में. And here Supreme Court found strict liability woefully inadequate to protect citizens' rights in an industrialized economy like India. And Supreme Court replaced strict liability with absolute liability. तो इसमें ये बोला गया, सुप्रीम कोर्ट सेड इन दिस केस दैट a company in a hazardous industry cannot claim any exemption. It has to mandatorily pay compensation. यहाँ पर आपको exemption नहीं मिलेगा, compensation pay करना mandatory हो जाएगा आपके लिए. That is the principle of absolute liability. Okay? तो ये point याद रखना है आपको. Absolute liability में escape clause नहीं होता. This means that even if any hazardous substance does not leak from premises of industry, but it causes harm to the workers inside, then also the enterprise may be held absolutely liable. भले ही गैस बाहर नहीं निकली हो, but जो अंदर काम कर रहे हैं वर्कर्स, वो इम्पैक्ट हो रहे हैं, कंपनी की एब्सोल्यूट लाइबिलिटी बनती है. राइट टू लाइफ. Okay, so these are the two principles in NGT, because you must have revised what is the objective of NGT, what are the functions or you can say powers of NGT, how many members, 10 members रहते हैं, right? आपको पता है ये सब. but ये दो principles हैं which many people, many students when they prepare, they skip out on. तो ये principles नहीं छोड़ने हैं आपको. So these were the key important topics that we had to cover in the next class. Ab make sure that you revise these topics, and the questions that I've given you in homework, you have to solve those questions in the comment section. Okay?